Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in for this Harley Carnes podcast on the headlines. Please hit the buttons. You know the buttons. The ones that say like or follow or subscribe. Or just type all three of them. It'll help a lot. We sure do appreciate you and your support. And we got some stories today. I mean, the world's not shaking because of them, but we got a bunch of them. Bill and Hillary Clinton will be back on Capitol Hill. The former president and first lady will be returning to testify, answering subpoenas on the Jeffrey Epstein case. House Oversight has been looking into Epstein's contacts and activities among the people in government, and there are pointed questions to come for the Clintons, Bill mostly. It was President Clinton at the time, and as James Comer points out, he works in Washington every day, has business with every administration, of course, and he has not been allowed into personal time with any president as often as Epstein was allowed into the Clinton White House. And the Clintons have never come clean about that relationship, except to claim there really wasn't one. Hillary has said she doesn't recall ever speaking to Epstein, or she put it, I don't recall ever speaking to the man. Pretty dismissive. Anyway, Bill is more problematic. There are photos, not just one or two, of him and Epstein in the company of some very young women. And Clinton was the president. Details eventually to come. Body cameras are coming to Minnesota. Homeland Secretary Kristi Noem says ICE agents, every one of them in Minnesota and nationwide, will soon be wearing body cameras, all of them. There will be a video record of every arrest, of every crime of interference committed against the agents in the field as they enforce immigration laws, and a clearer story will emerge of what they do and what they face, no longer to be crafted by politicians and activists. The political left has demanded body cameras. Well, now they're going to get them. The speed of the camera's deployment will be governed, of course, by available funding, and no, she is not going to quit her job. She made that pretty clear. This is such a strange and unusual case of crime. NBC anchor Savannah Guthrie's mother has been kidnapped. At least that is what the police are now saying they think happened. It's what explains her disappearance from her $1 million home in Arizona outside Tucson. Nancy Guthrie is 84. She's 5'5", weighs 150 pounds, has a friendly smile and disposition, as the NBC audience has seen multiple times when her daughter put her on camera. The case is striking in what investigators say they do not know. If she was kidnapped, and that's what they think, they don't know who did it. They don't know why. No ransom demand reported. So what kind of kidnapping is it? No sign of any major struggle. So either whoever took her was vastly stronger or extremely threatening, or maybe she knew them. There's no dementia, by the way. Mrs. Guthrie didn't wander off. She does require daily medication, which is critical to her. As for Savannah Guthrie, she's not on the air, of course. She's pulled back a bit. She's out of her hosting duties at the Winter Olympics in Italy, needs to stay close while the search continues for her mom. We only wish her the very, very best. Prayers and all that. President Trump has shaken hands on another big trade deal, this one with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It is not something that Mr. Trump ought to spend a whole lot of time crowing about, only because of the timing. It is a big deal, $500 billion by 2030, and it reduces tariffs to more straight-up reciprocity. It also includes F-35 stealth fighter jets to come and more oil and gas supply to India. But here's the thing. India's been making trade deals right and left, already made some big ones, including what was described as the mother of all trade deals with the European Union. They don't put a number on that one, but the EU did beat Trump to the punch with India. India has the largest population of any nation, and its economy is number 4 in the world. By the way, you hear the media saying things like, Trump has injected uncertainty into world trade markets. with his aggressive policy of using tariffs to balance the flow of trade and force reciprocity with the U.S. and so on. What he's done is force the world, or give the world the nudge it needed to make new deals that will spur growth, innovation, and opportunity among nations. Trump predicted when he started his America First policy that he would force other countries to put their own countries first too. And that would be a good thing for everyone. And today we can see it happening. Now, here's the big reason that Trump gets so much opposition in the world. All of that, America first, and then India first, and EU first, if you will, Britain first, Russia first, China first, and so forth. All of that tears apart the fabric of, quote, globalism. It's countries watching out for their people. That's not globalism, because globalism definitely doesn't do that. Globalism is top-down power structure. It's socialism on a global scale. And they hate it. Oh my gosh, they hate what Trump is doing, because he's taking it apart simply with his own policy of putting you and me first. You know? The last time Democrats shut down the U.S. government, it slowed down the American economy for about half of the fourth quarter. Well, now they've done it again because they don't like the crackdown on illegal immigration. These people really need to get a life. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says it's thrown everything into a cocked hat for their tracking of jobs and unemployment because it skews the numbers big time. When the federal government starts sending people home, mostly temporarily, but in some cases permanently, they start collecting unemployment insurance and stuff like that. We'll have to wait for things to settle out for the next job report. China's been making it clear that it thinks it has the U.S. and the West by the short hairs because it has most of the world's active rare earth mines. Well, President Trump is countering that now with plans to build up a $12 billion stockpile of rare earth minerals. It'll be funded mostly by a loan from the U.S. Export-Import Bank, $10 billion, with nearly $1.7 billion in private capital from companies like GM, Boeing, Google, and Stellantis. Those minerals are for many industries, including defense industries, automotive, the tech industries. By the way, rare earths means minerals like cobalt, lithium, titanium, silicon, nickel, and graphite. We have plenty of some of that. We don't have enough of some of that. Here's something to watch. The relationship with Greenland. Immense rare earth deposits are there. And Greenland's 57,000 total population has essentially no real ability to dig them out. But we do, and we will. And Greenland will become more wealthy than it has imagined because of it. And China will lose its edge and any stranglehold it had imagined it might have on the West. Groundhog Day update. This is important stuff meteorologically. Punxsutawney Phil and Staten Island Chuck and some other groundhogs saw their shadow and are therefore prognosticating 6 more weeks of winter. They usually do. It's February. Groundhog Day is much bigger than Phil and Chuck, though. There are 82 weather forecasting groundhogs, woodchucks, in America. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck? You know, not very much if it's still wintertime, right? Jimmy, the groundhog, is in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. It's a bigger day there. They have a craft fair, ice carvings. The celebration lasts several days in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin for Groundhog Day. General Beauregard Lee is in Jackson, Georgia. His accuracy rate, by the way, is considerably better than the rodent in Punxsutawney, who's only right 39% of the time. Bet you didn't know that. It's true. Of course, it's easier for Beauregard Lee. He's in Jackson, Georgia. I mean, you know, weather's going to change, and pretty soon. Buckeye Chuck lives in the Cleveland Museum of Natural History. His track record is atrocious, but he's cute. He was a rescue animal. And there's a really ugly little guy in the zoo of Acadiana in Louisiana, the so-called Cajun groundhog. I mean, nothing against, Cajuns or Acadiana or any of that stuff, but he's not really a groundhog. He's really a nutria who looks like a groundhog with a skinnier head and really long whiskers. Like I said, he's not all that cute. There are 82 of them. They give folks in all those places a good reason to gather and have a little fun during what is usually the coldest month of the year. By the way, I just had to look it up. The National Weather Service is predicting frigid in the Midwest and eastern half of the nation over the next 6 weeks. Blame it on the polar vortex. Mild to warm weather in the west from California to West Texas, warmer than usual. The far northwest, Washington, Oregon, across to the upper Midwest, staying west of Minnesota, and then south down through Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, and the southeast. It'll just be, normal winter weather. That's not a bad thing. It's actually kind of a cool thing. It's the way it's supposed to be. Well, that'll do it for today's Harley on the Headlines. No big scandals, just life and moving forward in these United States. I hope you will give us a helping hand, because only you can, really. Like, follow, subscribe, spread the word with some folks, friends, links, all that stuff. I do thank you. I'm Harley Carnes, and until next time, do me a favor, be happy, make some good decisions, and fly safe.